What's up, guys? Welcome to Table Hops.
Hey, how's it going? Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays. You know, Chris, happy holidays. My
snowing.
stein is empty.
My beer cap is empty.
Your beer cap?
My beer cap.
What are you cracking tonight, Chris?
So for today's special, I have The Death of Civilization from A Droid Theory. Very excited to be popping that bad boy open.
That is
saving
definitely
it for today.
Civilization 1, by the way.
Number 1. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ghost number 907.
That's very interesting. I'm drinking Luscious from Flying Machine Brewery, which is a sour with raspberry, orange, and vanilla. If anyone's seen my past few weeks of Wingspan, I've been drinking a lot of Luscious lately. And speaking of which, we're running a giveaway tonight. We are giving away a copy of Wingspan Digital. All the details are in !giveaway. So feel free to enter that giveaway.
Yes, please do. Birds can be yours.
We'll be drawing at the end of stream, and there's a whole slew of instructions for you. So don't worry. Unfortunately, members of Table Hops are not eligible.
Nope, never won a thing in my life.
Right. Margwin, what's up?
Guys.
How's it going, Margwin? I'm also double fisting.
Now Margwin
tonight.
can. Oh, you are.
I'm double fisting. I have a La Croix as well.
I don't know if that counts as double fisting.
I need some water in my life.
No, Stephen, I have a grapefruit sparkling water in this hand.
I have pamplemousse, so I have the bougie version of yours.
Yeah, I have the ghetto store-bought version, and then I have. Look at us. We're
look at that.
Old.
Look at that. We're old. Yeah, Margwin, enter that giveaway. Throw in some hot
please
points.
do.
Get into it. So tonight we are recording our. Is this annual? I guess I don't know if we didn't do one last year, but
our tradition of trying to make a tradition of our 12 days of Christmas beer and games.
Right, exactly. So this year we're doing a little bit different. So we're going to do mainly things that we've experienced over the past year, and then we're also we're limiting the list because we felt that the 4 hours would have been a little too much. So
no one wants to sit through that.
So we trimmed it down to be a top 6 beers and top 6 games for each of us.
Right.
So very interesting list, I think. And we'd love to hear what your guys' top beers and games for the year were. And with that said, let's just jump into it, Chris.
Let's do it.
The 12 days of... Well, I should have changed this. This really should be Beer Miss, but...
Beer Miss, right. And it's technically 24, but we'll go...
You know, it's 12 days of Beer Miss, 12 days of Game Miss, you know? So
yeah, there we go. Exactly.
It's close enough. 24, I mean, I don't know. Could you do just a top 3? I think that's kind of...
No, that would be tough. Dude, getting it down to 6 was hard.
Yeah, because you didn't want anybody to feel left out.
I know. Yeah, my little beer friends.
I'm gonna warn you ahead of time, Chris, that you have time to think about an honorable mention that you might have at the end.
Oh, okay. All right, I can do that.
Yep. All right.
It's La Croix.
La Croix. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So with that, Chris, we're gonna get right into it. And
number 6.
Number 6.
Chris, what was your number 6 beer?
So, my number 6 beer, this one dropped a little bit on my list from last time, but one that I always am happy to see at a brewery or bar or anywhere I'm grabbing a quick one is the Heavy Seas Loose Cannon American IPA. That is one of my go-tos.
Why is it hop cubed?
It has 3 different types of hops in it. I don't remember off the top of my head what those 3 are, but I know that's why it's the hop cubed IPA, but it's delicious.
So I found this old school art for it, where it's got it's Bird Overboard.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
it's like the Toucan Sam ripoff.
Yeah, exactly. Loose Cannon's great. It's a solid go-to IPA.
Oh, sure.
I don't think. I think that it's probably correct that it fell a few spots because there were so many good IPAs that came out.
Right, right. And there's so many different flavors and like variations on those, but this is just a IPA. And I'm gonna retcon myself here. I just saw it. It's not 3 different types of hops. I made a mistake. The hop cubed comes from the enormous amount of hops put in the beer. It's 3 pounds of hops per barrel.
Whoa.
Yeah. And
That's
it's hopped
nuts.
3 different ways, in the kettle, in the hop bag, and then dry hopped. So hops on hops.
That's awesome. What would you give this on Untapped?
I think on Untapped, I gave it a pretty high one. It's at least a 3.75. I try away. Yeah, that's exactly what I put. 3.75. I'm trying to get away from the points and just going like 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 because I
Right.
feel like I'm always gonna just say 3.75.
Yeah, that's
But
fair.
I'd round it up to a 4. There's nothing
Okay.
wrong with it. Good, solid.
So my
Number 6.
is Luscious. So Luscious is what I'm drinking tonight from Flying Machine Brewery. It's an American sour with raspberry, orange, and vanilla. So something you're going to see out of this list, Chris, is there's actually very few sours this year. I feel like my taste buds have changed quite a bit.
Okay.
And this is honestly about as sour as I want to go until I get to something like a like if I want to go deep, you know?
Okay. Like into the funky funk.
Yeah, into the funk. Exactly. So, but I do really enjoy this. It's very raspberry and vanilla forward. It reminds me a lot of, do you remember the yogurt bars that like your parents would get when they didn't want you to have ice cream?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
it reminds
I
me
do.
a lot of that.
The consolation prize of dessert.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And it looks, I know it looks very like smoothie-esque. It doesn't taste very smoothie-esque.
Okay. Is it sherbetish at all? When I hear vanilla and like a fruit, I always instantly go sherbet.
I guess to a point. Again, it's much more of that like raspberry yogurt bullshit you're used to. And don't get me wrong, like not that that's a bad thing, but that's just it's a very specific flavor, right?
Okay, right.
And it's also not. It's from Flying Machine, so that's the really cool brewery down in Wilmington that's got all like the. It's got the big like aluminum bar, and it's got the 2 stories we talked about before. It's 6.7%, nothing crazy. The can art is very basic, extremely basic. But
it's cool though. It's just like an iconic look. I like that.
You think creamsicle, Margwin? Yeah, if the orange was heavier, for sure. But this is very much a raspberry beer. So
I feel like orange and vanilla desserty kind of things can either go like dreamsicle or like Flintstones push pop. Like there's a little difference there. Yeah. Well, can you hold that up again? I want to see the color of that bad boy. Look at that. What Stephen doesn't want y'all to know is that that's actually just a stein full of Trix yogurt.
Yeah, I just I took a whole bunch of Go-Gurt packets and just
squeezed them in there.
That's why I need the pamplemousse, was to get it more liquefied.
Just shake it in there.
God, that would be so
don't do that at
gross.
home.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it would.
We're gonna move on from this, and we're gonna go to beer number 5.
Number 5.
Chris, what was your number 5 beer?
My number 5 beer, which this seems low on the list to me, but remember we're dropping it from 12 down to 6. It's the Unibrow Trois Pistoles Dark Belgian, one of my all-time favorites. Anytime this is in front of me at a restaurant or a brewery, I'll be like, "Yep, I'll take one of those." I mean, who's not to like a black Pegasus flying over an ominous-looking village? Big fan.
Do you that's a like a regular for them, right? That's not like a special.
It's not a special. It's a staple or one of their all year rounds.
All year round.
All year rounds.
So interesting enough, Chris, this is your only unibrew.
Yep, that's fair.
Thanks for the follow,
I was
Cake
trying.
Roses.
Appreciate that very much. Cake roses. I try to stay away from having too many of the same. You are going to see a few dogfish heads in there, but I mean, come on. So try to pick one unibrew, and that's the one I chose.
Okay, that's fair. Excuse me. My number 5.
Number 5.
Is a new beer for me.
Ooh.
In fact, I only had it about 3 weeks ago. It is Puff Puff Fish from Tripping Animals Brewing.
That's great.
So this is part of their Venom series. So they did a whole whole series of beers that were focused on animals that were venomous. So the Puff Puff, the puffer fish, as more people know it, is venomous, right? So this is a sour beer with lychee, coconut, and pink guava. It is very guava forward, but the coconut kind of makes it into this like tropical drink, kind of more like a not a Bahama
pina
breeze.
colada. Not quite
probably
pina colada yet.
Yeah, probably pina colada-y. But it's absolutely wonderful, and again, it's riding that line between like it's like the fruited sour is like it's the perfect balance of tart and sweet. Comes in at 6%, so nothing crazy. But again, just the art drew me to the can, and then
why wouldn't you be? Look at that guy.
Yeah, and and then the other thing too is the can art. The white part here is foiled, so it's like nice and
shiny.
Yeah, exactly.
That's super cool. So does that series come like with a little ampule of anti-venom that you take after drinking this, or is it just a bunch of different poisonous
That'd be a
animals?
good marketing gimmick. It comes in like a gift pack.
It's like, take this or you're gonna die.
Yeah, exactly. So solid number 5 for me. I think that the only critique of this beer that I would give it is that I wish that I knew what the hell lychee was.
Lychee is a Asian grape type of fruit.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's
delicious.
I don't know what that tastes like, so
it's honestly just like it's a
just
little
a
off grape. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a big ass grape and it's sweet and good.
Okay.
It's like taking everything about a grape, making it better.
Good to know. All right, Chris, we're already there. We're at
Number 4.
beer number 4.
Oh my
Chris,
goodness.
what was your 4th beer?
Oh no! We missed number 5.
No, we just did.
No, we
number
didn't.
5.
No, I'm looking at the wrong numbers. Sorry, I'm looking in Excel because I have an Excel sheet and it's number 4. Excuse me.
Number 4.
Chris, what was your number 4 beer?
I should have listened to the voice. The number 4 beer I have is a new one for my list, and it is the Triple Crossing Last Broadcast Double IPA.
Solid.
Triple Crossing has been crushing like IPAs recently, and they have like these doubles and triples, and it's hard to describe like the differences between them. They all taste like double IPAs, let's be fair.
Sure.
But like
Yeah,
when
yeah.
you taste them like back to back or have them, you're like, oh, I can really taste the hop profiles. And I think Last Broadcast had all those like weird experimental hops that they harvested for that, and I found it very interesting. It's honestly anything by Last Broadcast you can't, or anything by Triple Crossing you can't go wrong. But if I had to pick one, it was that one.
Is this like a series, like the Nephology series, or is it just like a
I don't think
pretty
it's
standard?
named as a series.
Okay.
I think they're small batched. So I know the one I liked before this was Dawn Chorus, and I haven't seen it again since then. So I think
Okay.
they like brew it and they just title it with whatever hops they use for the recipe and then move on.
Oh, okay. Cool.
But yummy.
Do you have a favorite?
Of that I think my favorite of the Triple Crossing line was the Dawn Chorus, but I chose Last Broadcast because it's the most interesting tasting out of all of them. Like Don Chorus is a good tasty double IPA, but I don't know if I'd be able to taste it out of a bunch of different ones. But the Last Broadcast does have like a unique characteristic to it, so figured I'd go with the more different one.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I actually haven't seen this before. And I don't know if I'd see it if I knew it was Triple Crossing because it looks so different from everything else in their line, you know?
Mm-hmm. You got to look for that symbol.
Yeah,
little
exactly.
Triangle Badoo, and then that's
exactly. All right. My
Number 4.
is Brain Squeeze from Drecker out of Fargo, North Dakota.
Yeah.
And I like the whole line. I really do enjoy the whole line. My favorite is the raspberry peach because I feel like the flavors just mesh well together. These all vary in ABV,
Alcohol Belly Bananas.
That's right. From 5 to 7, anywhere around in there. They're just pretty standard smoothie sours. Like these have become my this is my standard, right? You can either be better or worse than Brain Squeeze.
Yep.
Fun fact: the Hampton Roads area is the furthest south that you can get Drecker currently.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah,
so cool.
Yeah. They each different variant or each recipe, right, has hundreds of pounds of fruit in it.
Yes. That's exciting.
It's what's a choking hazard for toddlers?
Bubble tea. I have
tea.
a fear of bubble tea because I'm like I've seen like visions of my death, and I think it's bubble tea is the way I'm going to go.
Oh,
pretty
well,
close.
good to know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you want to get bubble tea tomorrow?
No. Alrighty. But yeah, that's a great number 4.
Yeah. All right, Chris, we're speeding right along.
We are.
Number 3.
Chris, what's your number 3?
Number 3 beer. This was on my list before, but I have yet to find something that will overtake it, and it is the Palo Santo Marron brown ale from Dogfish Head. This one is nuts. It's hard to describe it. It's like taking what a brown is and like putting it on crack or giving it steroids. They make it in these giant fermentation tanks that are made out of the Palo Santo wood that they got from Paraguay, and I got to see the fermenters as these giant tanks, 10,000 gallon tanks, and they look really sweet. I would like to buy one. No, they're inside. They're inside the brewery. They're in a special room just for these 2 tanks.
Okay.
Yeah. We got to look through the window, but we could not breathe on it. But it's so good. So good.
Yeah. It is a really, really good brown. Doesn't Palo Santo mean something, right?
That's just the type. I'm sure it does. I know that's the name of the wood. I don't know.
I think it
means holy tree. I mean holy tree. Holy tree. Right. Pretty cool.
It's the wood that's used in a lot of South American wines, which is really, really cool. I can't remember the last time I had one. I think it was this summer. I think I had one. It always surprises me. It kicks me, you know?
Well, it's a 12%er.
Yeah.
It's pretty hefty.
But even so, like, I guess, like, I'm saying, like, I know it's a 12%er, like, when you taste it.
Oh, yeah. It has, like, that almost, like, brandy-esque character to it. Like, it tastes boozy. It has a little booze to it.
Yeah, but it's not like you're drinking liquor, but it has, like, that flavor to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's, if you like barrel-aged whiskeys and stuff, or brown ales that are on crack, try this one.
Yeah, it was really good. All right. My
Number 3.
is a beer that I can't remember if we talked about it last year. I know we talked about it this year. And it's actually a returning beer. Whenever they have it, I always get it. From a local brewery called Benchtop. It is Brochachosaurus.
Mm-hmm.
Brochachosaurus is a fantastic dipper. With the latest version has Galaxy and Simcoe in it. and it's just a solid dippa. It's kind of become like my baseline dippa, and 7.5%. Nothing too crazy. It is unfiltered, but which I know turns some people off. But
look at that dinosaur. You can't not like it,
dude. Right? Who doesn't want a dinosaur with a fucking goatee?
Right. It's fantastic. Yeah, I love all that. I think Robo Squirrel is still it for me, but I do like Brochachosaurus as well.
So this barely beat out Brochachozilla for me. And I think it's mainly because if I drink too many Brochachozillas, I get in trouble. Because that's an Imperial Dippa.
Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's I think that clocks in at 9.5 or something like that.
That would do it.
But Brochachozilla does look like, it's Brochachosaurus, but it's looking like Godzilla. So
great.
Canard alone,
great local
brewery.
win,
but yeah, this is great. It's a great little pickup. Man, I feel like we're just zooming right along.
No problem with that, as long as our viewers are entertained. Are you not entertained? What number
Chris,
are we on
what's
now?
your number 2?
My number 2. By the way, this voice that you found for the numbers is the. It sounds like the guy from Hooked on Phonics. Here comes number 2.
I don't know if I've listened to Hooked on Phonics lately.
Well, I haven't lately. It's just been burned into my brain from public school. But anyway, my number 2 is a new one for me. It wasn't on my list before. Is the Adroit Theories Invisible Art Black IPA. Oh man, we had this I think when we were having a game night one time, and I had to stop and be like, we gotta taste this. It was so good.
It was so good.
It's amazing.
I didn't know that this was one of their first beers.
I didn't know that either. It's just they should have kept going with that. It's so good.
It's one of 2 beers that have made it from their beginning to now. Under the same name. Obviously some of their other recipes have stayed, but this one and All I See Is Carrion is the only one that has that's kept the same name the entire time.
That All I See Is Carrion was my neck and neck with the Trophy style because they're both dark Belgians, but I had to choose one. That was tough.
Have you had All I See Is Carrion in cans yet?
No, I haven't.
It's a completely new experience because now I can just have it, and it's not like a special occasion. You know what I mean?
Oh, because it's not a giant bomber of mistakes.
Right. Exactly. It's just
okay. I'll have to pick it up in cans.
Just a can.
But yeah, this Invisible Art was so good because one of my favorite styles of beers are, I like black IPAs and I like red IPAs, and both of them are I guess what was it before the whole hazy craze happened? They were kind of a fad or a style that was going out of style, so to speak, and a lot of people didn't make them anymore. But I just love black IPAs. I like super hoppy, but also a lot of malt. It's just a lot of flavor in one, and this one nailed it.
Yeah, for sure. So
yeah, new favorite, number 2.
My
number 2
is also from Adroit Theory. I think it'll surprise you which one it is.
Okay, all right.
You happen to be drinking it right now.
Oh, Death of Civilization.
Death of Civilization 1. This is very important. So there's 5 different series of Death of Civilizations. This came out of, they initially made this, right? And they stopped making it for a period of 2 or 3 years, something like that. And then they made the Death of Cthulhu, right?
Yeah.
Which was that super insane. Was that a quad?
I think you're right. That was the one with the with the marshmallow and the seaweed. Yeah. That was weird. For more info, you'll have to check out our previous YouTube video where we dress up in cloaks and drink it.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great one. But the Death of Civilization 1 was the the newest kind of rebrand of that series. And it's just so good. It's so good. I'm never sad when I pick this up. To be fair, I'm never sad when I pick up anything from Adroit Theory, but
right.
This especially, for some reason, just like it's nice and smooth. Even though it is an Imperial, I don't get like destroyed.
Right. It's an 8%er.
Yeah, it's nothing like crazy, but it is. I don't know. It's like it's good hangout beer.
Yeah.
Hazy, juicy, citrusy. I feel like it's probably a little pineapple-y, but I think that's fine. I think it knows what it is and it hits the mark exactly. So.
Absolutely, I totally agree with that. That is it is a tasty one. It's a tasty one. I'm gonna enjoy it while you talk about it.
So Chris, before we get into our number one, do you have an honorable mention?
Okay. I think we kind of mentioned it a little bit. The All I See Is Carrion. That one's great.
All I See Is Carrion is great.
There's so many like beers that I just really love, but I just couldn't put on the list because I was trying to have a one where I'm like, if someone put this on the table in front of me, would I always be in the mood to drink it? And the answer for all these so far has been yes. My go-to right before the season, of course, is the Warlock, but I don't like drinking it unless it's Halloween time.
Sure.
It's just a seasonal beer. Mad Elf is the other one. I guess we're getting close to Mad Elf season. So I guess this is a cop-out, but my honorable mentions are I have a lot of seasonal favorites.
God, you're such a little bitch.
I'm such a little bitch. You heard it here, folks. How about you?
So I think this is really, really going to surprise you.
Miller High Life.
It's not Miller High Life. It's not actually a beer at all.
Oh, well, that's an extreme cop-out. It's LaCroix Pamplemousse.
No. It's in the the alcohol family.
Okay.
It's Odin's Skull.
Oh, the mead. Look at you putting a mead on your list in an honorable mention.
It's an honorable mention. Let's calm down. But yeah, it's I don't know what it is, but I think it's a little less sweet, and so it just it's kind of like if I don't want to get crunk on wine, but I still want to have a good time situation.
That's fair.
Close to that is also the Ribba Miad, which is their caramel brandy one, which is
okay.
It's a little overpowering, but I that's why Odin Skull beats it out for me, but it's still really good. Yeah,
that's fair. My meat of choice, I think I've mentioned before, is Viking's Blood. I love that one. But I do have a big glass bottle of Shield Maiden by Atheling, which I've never had before.
Mm-hmm.
It's I haven't even opened it yet, so whenever we can hang out again, it would be fun to crack. It's a raspberry blossom honey with blackberries, so could be good. Yeah,
did you
sounds
see
good.
that?
And it's oak aged.
Did you see that thing I tagged you in? Those that funky like cranberry mead.
Yeah, I was wondering if that was too like I'd like to taste those before because mead's expensive, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I kind of want to I want to make sure I like the flavors. So if it's like too sour, I might not like it, and then I have a $30 bottle of it.
The pumpkin was interesting.
Yeah, that sounds. I've had pumpkin mead once, and it was more. Well, the one I had was more of like the pumpkin pie spice added to the mead, not so much like the pumpkin flavor. So I don't know what that one was like, but yeah, it sounded like they put nutmeg in my mead, which wasn't bad.
Yeah, it's not a terrible thing, right?
Right.
But yeah, and I don't think it was that bad. I think it was like $50 for the set for both of them. So
that's not bad at all. Blackheath Meadery in Richmond is very much worth the stop if you ever get by there. It's like a room the size of my kitchen, and they're like, "Hey, you want to taste some mead? No, get out," because we only have 12 feet of space. But they have some really good stuff.
While we're talking about this, have you seen the crazy dodeca and dectuple hopped beers?
No, I don't know what you're saying, and it's scaring me. So please tell me more.
So Smart Mouth is coming out with a dodeca hopped beer. Dodecable? Whatever. 12 times hopped IPA. And currently at Bottle Box, they have Omnipolo, which is a 10 times hopped IPA. It's just like taking it to like the fucking next level, you know?
Yeah, I'd like to taste the difference because, like, I don't know. I think it's more of the combination of hops, less the number of times you do it.
Right, exactly.
But, you know, who knows? Who knows?
The Omnipolo one I had was really good. Obviously very hop forward. It was a quadruple IPA.
Okay.
But it was good. It was very good. I don't know if it was worth it. I don't know if my palate, it's just not like, I'm not refined enough to be able to be like, oh yes, the 10 hops is so much better than the 9 hops, you know?
Yeah. I feel like at that point my mouth is destroyed.
Right. Exactly.
You know?
But I did like the flavor a lot. But it was also like $8 for the can. So
I've made worse mistakes.
Yeah, for sure. But it just like, I don't know.
Right.
It's not something I'd pay $8 for again.
Right. Okay. It's worth the try. Yeah, I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing, man. It's like sometimes there's these really cool beers I want to really like try, but it's a gamble because you're like, what if I hate it?
Mm-hmm.
And I just bought a $40 4-pack or whatever it is.
Well, and then it's like, what if you get it home and you really like it, and then you can never fucking find it again?
That's true. So, related to which, guess what I did today, Stephen?
What'd you do?
I brewed my own beer today.
Oh, great! Did you blow up your house?
Yeah, not yet. So the process is you boil it, and then you put it in the fermenter, and then you put it in secondary fermenter, and then you dump it in the garbage.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
So we'll see if it turns out. Hopefully this one turns out good. But my whole house smells like bread and hops right now, which is
Get your
great.
kegerator done?
No, I have the kegs. The kegs are cleaned. Everything's ready to go. The kegerator should be delivered next week.
Okay.
Here's hoping. Otherwise, I'll just have flat beer.
I mean, that's fine. Or you just drink it all and like, you know, right from the tap.
Right from the spigot. I'll just siphon it into me. Oh boy.
All right, Chris, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Your
Number 1.
number one beer.
The number one. I think anyone who knows me probably has already guessed my number one. It has not changed. I don't really know if anything will top it, and it's only on here because it's ridiculous. It is the Dogfish Head 120-minute stupid IPA.
This thing is fucking insane.
It's ridiculous. Insane. And I have so many in my fridge right now because, you know, my in-laws and they like, oh, he wants this as a gift because he'll never not enjoy the 120. But the thing is, these guys are 20% beers. I can only drink one. So if you get me 4, I'm good for a while.
I mean, you can only drink one with that attitude. You can.
Oh, that's fair. No, I did drink 2 at one time, Stephen, and that's when I ended up in your car when you weren't there to pick me up. Remember that?
Oh, that was that night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had 2 of those, and that was all I needed. 2, and I was dunsies.
Makes you a cheap date.
Well, no, not at a bar. These guys are like over $12 a bottle.
Of course not.
Right. But yes,
but
that's how
we don't go to bars anymore.
Oh, that's true. And then they're not serving 120-minute. I'll tell you that. But yeah, it's a delicious, super dry hop for 2-hour IPA, 20%, super heavy malt backbone, and yeah, it's not for the faint of heart. So
yeah,
don't start with one of those.
Chris, I have a confession. I've never had a 120-minute.
What?
I know.
You've never even tasted it?
I've never tasted a 120-minute.
Well, Steven, here's what we're going to do. When we can hang out again, I'll bring a 120-minute for you and a 120-minute for me, and we'll spend 120 minutes together and also open up that mead.
Only 120 minutes?
That's all we get.
Two
After that, I need to go
hours is
home.
the extent. It's the extent.
Yeah, till system shutdown.
Margwin, yeah, Southern Tier's Pumpkin Nitro goes out really, really quick.
Got to get it late August.
Yeah, you've got to pack up.
Yeah, that's what Jenny did with the Warlock. I still have Warlocks. I'm like, God damn.
Well,
Like a
dude, I
case.
mean, they were, what's funny is that they were here and then they were gone.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So I made up for that 1 year I missed them completely.
Right, exactly. Do you need
I don't know,
more
80
beer?
degrees. 80 degrees in the summer in Virginia is the last time I think about buying a pumpkin stout. But you got to load up.
Right. Well, I mean, it was 70 degrees last week and I was buying GBS. So.
Oh, there you go. That's fair. I'm very interested to try Guinness's gingerbread stout. I'm sure it doesn't measure up, but it's cute that they're trying.
Yeah, I mean, I think, well, it's nitroed still, right?
I don't think it is.
Oh, really?
It could be, but I don't think it was. Normally nitros are in cans. These are in bottles.
Oh, I thought they were in cans. Oh.
I mean, maybe they have a nitro version. I didn't investigate.
If it was nitroed, I'd be willing to try it, but otherwise I think I'll just be disappointed.
Yeah.
No.
So what is your number one?
Well, Chris, are you ready?
I'm ready.
My
Number 1.
number one is from a brewery that captured my heart last year. And this year they only unfortunately only a few of their beers were available, but this one took it to the next level and solidified them as I'd be willing to pay shipping for your beer. And it's from Nightmare Brewing, and it is their Torn Apart by Trees. This is a barley wine with birch and cherry wood. It's got sarsaparilla, ginger, licorice. It's they age it for, I think it's something like 13 months on vanilla, like vanilla beans.
Okay.
And man, oh man, it reminds me so much of like a fresh soda. Thank you for the follow, Z Corp.
Z Corp, appreciate it.
It reminds me so much of like an old fashioned soda.
Yeah, I could
like
see
an
that.
old-fashioned
Like a
homemade soda.
sarsaparilla.
Yeah. And the licorice and the cherry really like do a lot for it. Like kind of it kind of reminds me of like an old root beer with some cherry in it.
Yep.
This bad boy comes in at 15%.
Yeah.
And let me tell you that you taste none of that. And
After a while, you taste nothing at all.
Right? Yeah. It's just so good. It's so good. There's a lot of people online who say that it tastes like a malted milk ball.
I guess I can kind of see that, but you're right. It's more of like the root beerish kind of taste.
It's very root beery. Yeah. I mean, that's the flavors that I got. I got very root beery. Lots of like, I know it's not in there, right? But lots of like clove flavors. But yeah, so good. And
good.
Again, Nightmare is another one of those breweries where I was like, what the fuck is this, right? And I think the first time I had them was, I think it was a sour by them that I had.
Okay.
We talked about it last year, and then we had their triple together that we really liked. And then now the barley wine's just fucking insane. It's insane.
Man, it is very good.
Yeah.
The one that I actually that was it. The IPA that it was another Nightmare one that almost kicked out one of the ones I was looking at. I was between the Triple Crossing and then the Drawn and Quartered by Nightmare. That one
Drawn and Quartered, yeah,
that's so good. Yeah, that's a good one. Oh man, and their art is so cool,
right?
You know, it's like that Dark Horse kind of like comic art is just really cool. Big fan.
It's very like Sin City-esque.
Yeah, there you go. I like that.
Black and white, and then all the blood is red.
Yeah, exactly. Just brings your eyes there.
Yeah, exactly.
So I gotta say, Stephen, my top 6 beers, I think most people that know me probably would have been able to guess them. But yours have changed quite a lot.
Right?
And
That's
not
what I
only
was
just the
saying.
beers you chose, but your flavor like, here's the thing. I think when we started this, I think that time Stephen would never have put a barley wine, let alone a mead, anywhere near his list.
Right? Exactly.
So,
Chris, I
yeah.
would like to think that I am more sophisticated now.
Well, yeah, you got the.
I'm able to identify hops. I am
Yeah.
able to tell you what my favorite hop is. I am able to discern the differences in flavors. And sours still have a place in my heart, right? But I just don't. I don't reach for the Goza anymore, right? It's kind of like cool. It's there, you know what I mean? But
It's there, yeah.
I end up being nothing but disappointed, and and it's very unfortunate. You know, I'd rather my beer taste like a beer, and I know that
Exactly.
I know that you said that on episode 3 of the podcast, and I was like, why the fuck would you want it to taste like a beer? Why wouldn't you want it to taste good? But I have been converted.
I'm glad.
I don't know if that's COVID. I don't know if that's me turning into an alcoholic, but you know,
It's probably all of those things, Stephen.
it's all of them. Yeah, right. I mean, you have to be able to. I mean, part of COVID, right, is you have to be able to taste.
Right, exactly. So we stick to our 15 to 20% beers that are quadruple hopped for 1,000 years, and we're fine.
Were there any other like big hits from 2020 for you?
Oh, man, there was a few that I keep thinking about. There, like I said, the Triple Crossings were the ones that really got me this year in 2020. I feel like 2020 summer to me was more of the quantity over quality. And I'll just admit it. I just was home a
That's
lot,
fair.
nothing to do. Buy
That's
a 12-pack, go home. But the one honorable mention I will leave for someone who's looking to buy a beer for the next few weeks is Clown Shoes has a really good 12-pack, 12 Days of Christmas, and each beer in it is different.
Oh, I saw
6
that.
of them. It's worth it, man. The six of the beers are their staples, like the bubblegum IPA,
Right.
and like the pecan porter. That one's really good. But then they have 6 that are the like holiday specials, and they have remember the Undead Party Crasher?
Yes.
It was like the zombie stout thing. They have the holiday crasher where it's the same can art except for like the dude's wearing a Santa Claus hat and the monsters have like elf ears and stuff. It's pretty funny. But yeah, if you check it out, it's totally worth it.
My sleeper hit of 2020 is from I guess they're not technically a brewery, or they don't have any like physical locations. It's called Non Sequitur Beer Project. They're it's like a collab like pseudonym, you know?
Okay.
So it's a whole bunch of brewers from NYC get together and they make these beers. The can art's all really funky. It's kind of like 90s Nickelodeon art.
That's great.
And my favorite one from them, or the favorite one that I've had so far, I've only had like 2 or 3 of them. But would have to be, and again, this is another thing that's going to surprise you, Chris, is their table beer.
A table beer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the the name of the beer is called "How Do You Build a Table Beer?" And
that's fair.
The can art looks like instructions out of an IKEA manual.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
So that was really good, and they also had the oh god, what is it called? Don't Headbutt Your Friends. Which is their DIPA with Chardonnay grapes in it, which is another like weird flavor I never thought I'd be into. But it's really, really good. It's kind of like, what's that other one? Collective Arts? Isn't that another like
Collective Arts, Artisanal? I think they're a collab. I might be wrong on that one. Collective Arts for sure was one. I want to say Artisanal was one, but let me check.
I don't feel like I've seen many Collective Arts this year.
Well, they can't get together, Stephen.
That's fair. That's fair. It is Canada, so
Yeah.
Collective Arts does have like a lot of my like favorite beers, I think.
I think Collective Arts is its own thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. They have the Clouds or whatever that one was called.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Life in the Clouds. Is that what it's called? Yeah. Their artwork is really cool.
Their
Oh
artwork's
man, and if you
cool.
go to their website, the eyes of the dragon follow your mouse pointer.
Oh no. I don't know if I
Anyway.
like that.
Yeah, it's a little creepy.
And then of course, Chris, the hit of late 2020, Bell's is back.
Yes, thank goodness. Kalamazoo, dude.
That's right.
Kalamazoo stout. Bell's Two Hearted. Yum yum.
I love Two Hearted, man. So good.
Two Hearted, so good. So good. That is a good table beer.
Oh,
I feel it's they call it I think they call it an IPA, but to me it's just like a good ale that I've never had anyone saying this is gross. Everyone's like, yeah, it's pretty good.
yeah,
That's
that's
a crowd
fair.
pleaser.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I think that I don't think there's anything from Bell's that I don't like. Doesn't
No, they make-
Bell's makes a Heffa, right? That's really good.
They make a summer ale called Oberon.
Oberon, right? It's
Yeah,
like close
yeah.
to a Heffa.
It's very close. Yes. I think they call it a white ale, but yeah, it's basically Hefeweizen. That one's great. That one's good. Two Hearted and Kalamazoo are the big heavy hitters that I can remember.
Yeah.
But yeah. They
Margwin
make
says
some
the discovery
good
of
stuff.
nitros has been a highlight for me. Heck yeah, dude. Nitros are
Yeah.
great. I mean,
They are
it's,
good.
Of course, nitro like at a bar is just next level. But
Yeah, that's what we got to do next, Margwin. We got to go to a place that has a nitro on tap.
yeah, I also feel like, and maybe again, I think it's probably just 2020, right? But I think that not the Rattler. What's the stupid infuser thing?
I mean, Radler is one of them that has the little vessel that it travels through.
Right. I thought the
are you
Rattler
talking
was
about?
just like a juice mix.
Oh wait, maybe I'm wrong. Let's see. The Rattler is a funky thing. Yeah, okay, that's it. I thought it was called a Rattler. Am I wrong? You're right. A Rattler is the juice thing. What is the
Randall.
Rattler? Randall. That's it.
A Randall.
That's it.
But
Randall.
I feel like I don't hear about those, and it's probably just because of COVID, but
I think that would be a big part of it.
But I feel like a lot of people just didn't. I mean, even at the beginning of the year, right? It wasn't like a big thing happening.
Well, I don't think you can really. I don't think you get the same effect as if you package rattled beer or like
For sure.
randled beer. So
For
like
sure.
you have to have people come in, and I'm sure it doesn't last very long. Like you
Yeah.
got it has to happen in the day.
Yeah.
My favorite one was when they put it through coffee beans. Oh man, that's magic
yeah.
right there.
Yeah. So we've talked about kind of our beers from 2020. What do you think? Do you think that, we talked previously, right, that like it was the summer of stouts because no one knew what was going to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think we're going to see in 2021?
I think at the beginning of 2021, we're going to see a lot of caution. We're going to see some beers that they'll be like, okay, we've been in this situation before. We're not going to make something that has a low shelf life. We're going to make something
Right.
that can stand, but we'll try and see if we can get away from stouts. Like maybe we'll make something we'll probably see a lot of high ABV beers,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like right off the bat. And then I think once things go to quote unquote normal, we'll probably see a bubble burst where a bunch of random experimental beers that people wanted to try come back into fruit, like
All the small batch stuff.
everyone's stuck inside thinking about random stuff, and homebrewers and brewers are probably like, what if I took this and this? Can't wait
Right.
till we get back and I can just
Right.
try it. So I think we'll see a lot of innovation. I'm hoping.
I think that I feel like, and this was kind of happening before, right? I think the seltzer thing is done. It's a dead boy.
It has helped a lot of people in quarantine that prevented them from getting fat because they're just drinking.
the craft seltzer.
Yes, it's definitely, they're like, oh, we just want a lot of these.
Right. The craft seltzer is done. I think that I think you're right. I think we'll probably see a lot of like safe calls, right? the summer's a gamble, you know? The summer's like what I think by like February, right, when they start seeing like what this mystical shot does.
Right. It comes in the Venom series of beers.
Right, exactly. You have to buy a 4-pack that comes with a
Yeah.
glass and
Done.
a vaccine. Oh, it's amazing. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate you,
It's
bub.
amazing. Thank you very much for the follow.
Seltzers are
Seltzers
gross.
are
I've been
gross.
Tricked, not
Tricked.
trickled.
I've been trickled. Yeah.
I like some seltzers. I think for me, like the seltzers, the craft seltzers were fine. I think the problem for me was, why am I paying you $20 for a 6-pack when I can pay $20 and get a 24-pack?
Yeah. And here's the thing, right? Is like I tried a few of them. I'm trying to think of the one that was really. It's funny. It's like beer and seltzers are like opposite for me. I feel like the cheaper I went, the more I could deal with it. Right.
Right.
Like when I was getting like the Kona, Jenny wanted to try like the Kona seltzers and stuff.
I thought
I'm
you were
like,
going to say you were getting the COVID.
I was getting the COVID, and so I tried the seltzers. But like the higher up there, like I guess craft seltzers, I'm like, this is gross. But then I went to the Coors seltzer, and I'm like, this is tolerable. And then I went to the Natty seltzer. I'm like, I've hit the bottom of the barrel, but I'm okay here.
It's amazing. Let's be clear. I was talking trash about craft seltzers. Truly is still fine. Truly is still fine. I know Chris here is a big fan of the Natty seltzers, which
The Natty seltzer,
which I think is just blasphemous. But Trulies are still okay in my book. Hope you're doing it.
yeah, Trulies. Yep.
Trulies are
my buddy
okay.
Pat
White
really
Claws are
likes
kinda
Trulies. Well, they slay werewolves, right? So. Oh no! The Silver Bullet, the Coors. That's our big cosplay. I want to have my friend dress up like a werewolf made out of White Claws, and I come in with the Coors Light Silver.
Does
Bullets.
Coors have a seltzer? Does it come with a twist cap?
Coors has a seltzer. It does not have a twist tap. It's only a skinny can. All of these come in skinny cans.
They have to
because
come in
that's what
skinny
you'll look
cans.
like. Yeah, that's what you'll look like if you drink these seltzers.
Yeah, because you gotta if it's skinny, right? Then there's fewer calories.
Right. I
That's
like
why-
my seltzer like I like my shampoo in long cylindrical bottles.
It's why Michelob is in tall, skinny cans.
Yeah, Michelob Ultras in fit cans. They have little They come in 6-packs. They have 6-packs drawn on them.
You bought them?
Good. I did. There was one time when I was Now I've given up.
Oh goodness. Oh. All right, guys, we're gonna take a quick 2-minute break. We're gonna be back
2
with our
minutes.
top 6 games of 2020, and let me tell you, Chris, you're going to be shocked at what didn't make my list.
Cards Against Humanity isn't on there. That's my guess.
Yes, Sam. 2 minutes or less. We'll be right back, guys.
Be right back. See you soon.
What's up, y'all? We're back.
Hello, we are here. Back
Chris,
for
did you
our
switch
top
up your
6.
beer choice?
I did. I am now going to be drinking the Space Cake Double IPA from Clown Shoes.
Space Hick is so good.
It is. I love their can art. All their can art is so good. The Pecan Porter has a samurai and a pie eating contest. I mean, what's not to love?
I am switching it up to Walter's Waffles.
Yum.
Somebody didn't believe me. I was telling somebody that this beer exists and they didn't believe me. This is an Imperial Stout with waffles and maple syrup at 9%.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? I don't know if I've had the waffles. Maybe I've only had the pancakes. Was pancakes last year?
Wait, you never had toast?
Oh, no, I have not had
dude.
all
You're
the
you're missing out.
I've been messing up.
Waffles is good. Toast is my favorite.
Is that like a cinnamon toast kind of deal or
French toast.
French toast? Got it.
Yeah. They do have Walter's Brunch as well, which has like bacon in it. But I feel like it's a little too smoky. It's almost like
You're
lining up with that rock beer situation.
Yeah, that's a slippery slope.
Yeah. Tessa Toon, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it.
Oh yeah, appreciate it. Oh, you got some points. All right, and you get some tickets for our giveaway. We're giving away. What are we giving away, Stephen?
We're giving away Wingspan Digital Edition.
Wingspan, Stonemeyer game.
Yeah, Stonemeyer game. Really fun game about birds that I've been playing for the past couple weeks. And it's fun. It's real fun. You get to learn about birds at the same time. So there's
ornithology. Is that what it's called? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think
so. Good. You got one ticket to ornithology. Well done.
Heck yeah, dude. Heck yeah. All right, Chris, are you ready?
All right, I'm ready.
It's time. It's time to get into our top 6 games.
Here we go, guys.
Hey, Chris.
And Steven said I'm going to be surprised by his choices. So
I think you are. I do genuinely think you are going to be surprised by my choices. I was a little surprised by yours until you gave me your number 6, and then I was like, okay, yeah, this is just normal.
That's fair. I am a creature of habit, and I've just realized it now. You know, after seeing this, I guess my adventuring days are over. I took an arrow to the knee.
Hey, Chris, why don't you tell me what your
Number 6
is?
My number 6, Stephen, is the Lords of Waterdeep board game.
Who
would have thought? Who would have thought? And the reason I have chosen Lords of Waterdeep yet again is because it is, 1, it's Dungeons and Dragons based. The lore is there for me. 2, it's a quick, easy worker placement game, and it looks pretty, and the pieces are nifty, and they fit in their own little trays, which is fantastic. And then also, it's a great gateway game, moving from like, you know, I guess like more classic strategy games to what we would consider modern games at this point. It's just a fun game all around.
But hasn't Frostmaiden been your first dive into Waterdeep?
No, not at all.
Oh,
no,
okay.
No.
Okay.
No, and Frostmaiden's in Icewind Dale. We did Waterdeep Dragon Heist, which for my players was their first delve into Waterdeep.
Okay.
I have been acquainted with the town.
Got it. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Lords of Waterdeep is great. I agree with you that it definitely is a good kind of gateway game for most people. It has an interesting mix of worker placement and fuck you cards, you know?
The intrigue cards, aka the fuck you card.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like I haven't played the expansion enough to really give that a note or a review.
Okay.
But I feel like I wasn't the biggest fan of that like shadow mechanic. I feel like it just added complexity to a game that didn't need it.
Didn't need it. That's fair. So there's 2 expansions for the game, and they come together in one set. So one of them is the Skullport Skullduggery or something like that. Skulls of Skull, something like that. And that one is the one that just adds another map for another player. So it increases the player count. It doesn't really do much other than add a few other cards to the deck, but it doesn't add any mechanics.
Okay.
The other one that comes in there adds what you said, the corruption tokens.
Corruption.
And
yeah, that's what's called.
Yeah, what they let you do is, I think it's kind of an interesting one, but I agree that like I wouldn't use it with a large player count. It's better with a smaller player count because the way it works is like you take this corruption and you get a big bonus, and as long as everyone is equally corrupt, then the penalty at the end of the game isn't too bad. But if you get greedy and you use it too much, then you get a big cut at the end. I think it's a neat balancing act, but again, there's no. If you just add it to a game that already has like 5 players, 6 players, then you're like, no, this is just taking extra time.
Chris, would you like to explain to our audience the first time? Because Margwin did say, because you cheat a lot. Would you
It's
like to explain
cheat
to our
out of
audience
omission and ignorance. But
about
yes.
how Lords of Waterdeep ended our friendship permanently?
Yes. So in our early days as young gentlemen playing board games together, we were playing a game of Lords of Waterdeep. And Stephen, I don't think had ever played it before, and I had barely played it. But I was still in charge of reading the rule book, and there became this very important question of, hey, Chris, gold at the end, right? That's not worth any points, is it? Like, no, gold's worthless. Might as well use it. Otherwise, it's just going to be, you're collecting it for no reason. So we went through the entire game, and we had the same number of points. And then we had the same number of, secret objectives that we completed. And then we're like, what do you do in a tie? And I'm like, let me take a look at the book. Oh, the player who has the most gold wins.
Shocker. And chat, I want you to guess, who had the most coins? Who had the most gold at the end?
Steven, you're not going to need that gold. You might as well give it to me.
I wonder who that might be. Yes, that ended our friendship permanently. We will never be friends again.
No.
Simply because you misguided me. You led me astray.
I led you astray. Yes.
My
Number 6.
is a newer game to me.
Okay.
I only started playing it this year, but I have played it over a dozen times so far, and that's because there's a digital edition, and that's because it's Wingspan. Wingspan is action selection game about birds, right? We're also giving it away tonight. Exclamation point giveaway.
Digital edition. Yeah.
Digital edition. Yeah, exactly. Really interesting game where every round there's end of round scoring, right? There are probably about 3 dozen different end of round scoring cards. And each round you have fewer and fewer actions to take. So you can you're trying to build up this engine so that every action you're taking gets you more and more things. But at the end of the game, it's really just who was the best bird watcher. Really, really fun. Chat hates it whenever I do this, but I always talk about having to lay more eggs because it is a very large mechanic in the game is laying eggs. And when I'm thinking out loud, I'm like, I need to lay more eggs. If I do this egg and then I egg here, then I'll have enough eggs to do this. And
there's no more thrilling content than watching Steven lay eggs on
That's
stream.
right. That's right.
It's very
on Twitch, mind you. On
Twitch, yeah.
On Twitch.
He has this little shiver when one comes out. But yeah, it's good times.
Yeah, Wingspan is really fun. I'll admit I was not buying into the hype from last year, just strictly because I'm not a big bird person. Like, birds are fine, but
birds are. I have no problem with birds.
Yeah, I think I do. Contrary to popular belief, I do think that birds are real. But at the same time, I'm not like a big, I don't have like binoculars and, I'm not going out and recording in my bird book how many birds I saw,
This is all lies. We know the
that's
truth,
fair.
Steven.
That's fair.
You can see your binoculars
Although
in the background right there.
Given having played this game now, I do have a favorite bird.
What is it?
It is. Are you ready?
Yes.
It is the Baltimore Oriole, and not for the reason that you think. The
Not
Baltimore
baseball
Oriole.
reasons.
It's not baseball reasons, even though they are my favorite baseball team, which is unfortunate. But the Baltimore Oriole has a pouch nest. So what it does is it builds a nest around a branch and it hangs there. And they lay their eggs in this pouch like a fucking rucksack, you know? and then their chicks hatch, right? And they chill in the pouch until they're able to get out and fly. If you're ever interested in learning more about Wingspan, we stream it almost every Thursday now. And we always end up down this rabbit hole. Yesterday we ended up this rabbit hole with this particular kind of Midwestern chicken who has a very large yellow gullet that it uses for mating. And so we were looking at the YouTube video about how it mates. Put it on Twitch. Check it out. Check out our VOD if you want to see that.
That is fantastic.
Again.
I did not know I was part of such a premium content developing channel.
Premium content.
This
is
great.
Exactly.
Great.
Exactly. So that was Wingspan,
man.
mine number 6.
Yep. Really quick on Wingspan, I remember thinking I was going to pick it up, and I wanted to buy the add-ons, like the Pimp My Game things, like they had the little rock eggs, I guess, that you could buy.
Yeah.
But I knew I would somehow choke to death during Easter time because they look like those little candy chocolate eggs. I would have died. So
yeah, they do look like chocolate eggs, and that's a problem. Yeah.
Choking.
I have. Let me clarify. I did play this in person. And when I first played it, I was like, "This is kind of You know, it kind of felt like the same. Playing it digitally has really opened my eyes up to the game. And let me tell you that I will not play this game without wooden eggs. Because you have to be able to feel the eggs. You know, you have to be able to warm them up.
You need to know when they're ready.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't want them to hatch out of cardboard. You know, they have to have like substance to them.
What a way to enter the world.
Right. Exactly. Oh God. Moving on.
All right.
Chris.
More on our OnlyFans. What are we at?
More on our OnlyFans? No, I'm not doing egg hatching content on our OnlyFans. That's a weird kink.
OnlyFans. That's where you get your Mexican desserts.
Oh God.
So number 5 game.
Number 5.
My number 5 game is new this year. It was given to me by my brother actually that Christmas, like after we did that last list, I think. I got this for Christmas, and it's a game called City of Kings. And I have played this game 2 players and solo, and you know me, I'm not a solo player kind of guy, like it's not my jam, but playing this game solo is a lot of fun. It's honestly a little more fun. Hey, thanks for the follow, Tona Becky. Really appreciate it.
Is that Tona Becky or Tona Becky?
Tona Becky. Thanks for the follow. The city.
Tona Becky.
But yeah, it's really fun solo. I think because there's a lot of puzzle elements involved. When I play with someone else, I'm like, oh, we should just do this. So it's a lot more fast paced and satisfying to do it with the as a solo experience.
Is this only 1 or 2 players?
No, you can play it up to 4.
Ooh, that seems dangerous.
Yeah. See, the problem is like it balances itself based on the number of players, right?
Okay.
But the experience is the same. You still are trying to solve the same puzzles the same kind of way. So having 4 minds agree on one approach is a lot harder than just having 1 mind pass or fail.
Okay.
If that makes any sense at all.
Yeah. So it's well, I feel like playing with more people almost comes with its own challenge.
Yeah, it does. I feel like it makes it harder because you won't always agree on the approach. And, you know, maybe that'll end up with some strategies that you wouldn't think of by yourself. But at the same time, this is a kind of an unforgiven game where if you screw up, you're not going to win. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
So it's bad to get 2 hours in and then someone screws up and you're like, well, here we are.
We're fucked.
Yeah.
My
Number 5.
is something that I wouldn't have thought would have made it onto my list. And even last year, I would not have put this on my list. Strictly because I wouldn't have felt like it fit into the board game realm. But since,
Okay.
I feel like COVID has really like re-energized my RPG kind of elements. And my number 5 is an RPG from a smaller company called Osprey, Bluebeard's Bride.
Oh, I keep wanting to play this.
So Bluebeard's Bride is a horror RPG that is 100%, 90% theater of the mind. You're playing as Bluebeard's Bride, right? So it is the tale of how Bluebeard has a new bride, and she's given keys to his house because he has to go out on many adventures, and so she's exploring the house, right? And he says, "Don't go into this one room," and of course, at the end of the tale, Bluebeard's Bride, she goes into the room and becomes part of the house that she's living in. And depending on who is game mastering it can get very dark. It is a game very much that has to have lines and veils. Has to.
X cards.
Yeah, it can get pretty wild. And not to go like into too deep, it's not something that unfortunately we'd ever be able to do on stream, but
right,
it is something that I want to do for like an off-stream community thing.
Yes, I've always wanted to play this game, and at conventions I always try and get in, but I never make it in time. Like, I've been wanting to play this game for a while.
I've been gaming out a few. So the way it works, right, is you've got a number of players, right, and the players take on different personalities of the bride, so different parts of her personality.
Like
so
Inside Out for adults?
To a point.
Okay.
It's more like somebody is like somebody will be like the mother figure, right? And somebody will be like the succubus, so there's all these different kind of tropes, if you were, for the bride. And then like part of the thing is it's supposed to be a horrific experience, right? So the game master will, like, what are some things that make you uncomfortable, right? What things about your body make you uncomfortable?
I can go on about that for days.
Well, I mean, it's just really like your whole thing, right?
It is, yes.
Especially your mustache. But
dude, no, this is my pride.
The mustache is the only thing that's keeping you going.
It is. I'm just a floating mustache.
But yeah, so Bluebeard's Bride, my number 5. It would have made it higher up the list, but I've only played it a handful of times now. But it is an experience that it sticks with you for a while. So,
yeah. Okay. I can appreciate that. It sounds pretty cool.
Moving on to
all right.
Number 4.
Chris, what's your
Number 4.
When you hear the chime, turn your audio cassette to the other side. So my my number 4, I went based on theme and aesthetics alone, and it is Court of the Dead, the board game, which has another subtitle underneath it. Now I can't remember it.
Mourner's Call.
Mourner's Call, that's right. So, because Court of the Dead is also like a graphic novel and other mediums portraying the world, but Mourner's Call is the name of the board game, which comes in a ridiculously large box with a beautiful rendition of the underworld as the board, with neat UV coated business going on the board, which highlights different aspects of it. The card art is super cool, minus a few photoshopped in developer pictures, but we won't go there. And even though the minis were kind of a letdown for me, in all honesty, they were kind of gunky. I just love seeing this game on the table. Whenever I see it, I'm like, this is a sweet looking game. And the whole like premise behind it, theme alone, big fan of Court of the Dead.
Yeah. So what type of game is it, Chris?
So in this, you are trying to collect. I guess area control is as close as I can think. Like you're trying to earn points, and you can go. I guess I don't know. It's hard to categorize it because you can go area control and earn points that way. You can go having a certain number of the same type of unit, get points that way.
Court of the Dead is definitely area control.
Okay.
I would also there's some light card drafting in there.
Yeah, with the big ass tarot cards that come in there for the lords, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, the art is just so cool in this game.
So cool. Yeah.
There's also like that weird like auction phase.
That's what I was kind of liking about it. It's like at first when you look at it, it seems area control, but there's other ways you can still win. Like you can still go other directions.
Yeah, but the primary like this.
If you had to put it in one, it would be. You're right. It would be
area control. Yeah. But I do like how there's multiple avenues to go down. I think that the interesting thing to me is the co-op aspect of it, where it's you've got that phase where everyone bids in a certain amount of money, or
right?
Is it money?
The souls that you're trying to hide
some
from
form of
the divine.
Currency.
Yeah. There's a resource you have to manage as a group.
Yeah, exactly. And if you don't do that, then something bad happens. But if you do that, something good can happen.
Right.
And
there's a lot of cool balancing acts.
Yeah, for sure. And then I feel like the only thing I feel like I didn't like about this game was it's so chunky that it feels like it feels like a much larger game than it actually is. I feel like there's a lot of strategy to it, and I think that I don't mean that in that there's not depth, right? But just I feel like it should be 30 minutes longer.
Oh, really? You don't like when it cuts?
Yeah.
That's fair. The things I do like about it are I feel like it's forgiving in the sense that if you start going towards one strategy, but then you realize halfway through you're like, this isn't going to work, you can switch and not be completely screwed.
Yep.
Like, I feel like it has a little bit of that where you can adapt to what's going on. My biggest problem, and it kind of ties into what you were saying, I feel like this game could be 30% smaller, just in physical dimensions.
Yeah.
It's so big, and the box fits on no shelf.
Yeah, it doesn't fit on the standard calyx.
Yeah, it could fit. Like, you could shrink this game down and have just the same amount of gameplay.
There's so many. I mean, I don't even want to fucking talk about the game that is fucking Title Blades, where the box came in and it looks like a
you got it.
Yeah, it looks like a Monopoly box. It's huge.
Yeah, the big long classic boxes, right?
Yeah, and the thing is I forgot that I got the expansion with it, and the expansion doesn't fit in the base box. Don't get me started.
Good.
But yeah, I do really enjoy Court of the Dead. It's been a while since I played it. I did pick it up at the beginning of the pandemic, but we have yet to play it, and I think that's because I remember that it wasn't great at 2 players. I feel like
I think three is. I feel like odd numbers are good. There's a little bit of cutthroat to it, so to avoid that, like
I feel like we played it at 4, and I think that 4 was best.
4's okay. Yeah, that 4 is okay. Yeah,
I think that 4 is better because at 3 you can end up with that gang up situation.
That's true. Yeah,
but yeah,
fun game nonetheless. Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
I agree. 2 is kind of meh.
Cool. My number 4, my
Number 4.
is a game that you haven't played, Chris. And
Okay,
I know this
that's
because
fair.
this isn't a game that you would procure. And it's a game that I just recently got, and I have played 8 times. I liked it so much that the first time I played it, I immediately picked up the expansion pack for it.
Okay.
And this is Villagers. This is from, oh God, it's like Sicklefish or something. Sicklefish Games. It's a card drafting tableau building game for 1 to 5 players. Very interesting idea. So the whole idea is that basically the apocalypse has happened, right?
Okay.
And
Okay.
you have a village, but you don't have any villagers in it. And all these villagers are roaming the land trying to find some place to settle. All these villagers have different skills and abilities, right? And so you want to be able to attract these villagers to your village. And so you do that by having services for them.
What type? Egg laying services?
No egg laying here.
Okay.
There is a shepherd though. So and an animal husbandry expert.
Animal husband? Got it.
Yeah. But really cool. The tableau building is really what gets me. The card drafting is cool. You've got 6 different piles that everyone picks up cards from. In the tableau building, every card that you have either it kind of powers up a card. So let's say, for instance, that you have the blacksmith, right? So the blacksmith has to get its resources from somewhere, right? Where does it get its resources from? The miner. So you have to have a miner that then upgrades into a blacksmith, right? And then you might upgrade the blacksmith into, a locksmith, right? Or a
Call the
jeweler or something like
locksmith. Got it. Cool.
So really cool. The basic cards all have 2 slots on them, so you end up stacking up multiple villagers on top of the basic guys. And
So they kind of evolve. Is that kind of like the mechanic there? Yeah. Okay.
Basically.
Got it.
And then there's it's really, really short too. It's like maybe 30, 45 minutes.
Okay.
The
I really like the
expansion-
aesthetic. I like just the way the cards look from
the
from the
cards
box
look really,
itself.
really cool. The box. So one of my favorite things about this is the box. The box, obviously, it's just a bunch of cards, right? There's a box of cards and some coins, which you could probably trash and just use like poker chips.
Okay.
But the box of cards has card dividers. So you divide out these are the starting cards, these are the road cards, these are the 4+ player cards. And they all have like hard cardboard backers, so you can separate them all inside the box.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Which is really,
like
really
that.
nice. The expansion's really good too. It's super cheap. It's like $9. It includes a wooden first player marker, which the first player marker is a chicken.
Yes. Yes. The mayor of the town.
Right. Exactly. And the includes a few different. It takes the modular expansion route, so you can add in some buildings. You can add in some. There's like a harvester, and then there's other what they call basic occupations.
Okay.
That just add a whole nother occupational path you can go down. So really fun game. I love tableau builders in general. And the card drafting just really, really takes it to the next level for me. So this is, if you ever played Dominion, this is like a lighter version of Dominion. And it doesn't take up nearly as much room as Dominion does. So
Would it supersede Dominion for you? Like it just
for
replace
sure.
it?
For sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Because
Dominion,
longer
I think-
and more complicated doesn't make it better.
Right. Oh God.
Thank Isaiah Warrior?
Or Zio.
Or Zio Warrior. Thank you.
Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. It definitely supersedes Dominion. Dominion, I think, is fine. I think it's probably outlived its days. And I do think that the problem with Dominion is just I think there's just so many expansions for it, and the completionist in me would have to get them,
Yeah, I understand that, man.
So
that's no fun.
yeah. But yeah, Villagers is great. I can't wait to play it with you. I think that even though you're not the biggest fan of tableau building, I think that you would like this game because it's kind of like building your own tech tree, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that does sound cool. I'd be a fan. Yeah, let's check it out.
All right, moving on to
Number 3.
What's your number 3, Chris?
Okay, so we're getting to the point where, again, if you know me, this is going to be no surprise to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
My number 3 game is my favorite 2-player strategy game, and that is War Chest. I am a big fan of this game. You guys, I think, I got the expansion for Christmas. Was it last year?
I think so. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. And it just adds more units, the cool little decree cards. This game is awesome. I just love everything about it. Its presentation. It's like having these big heavy chips in your hand. The bags. It's just great. I have nothing bad to say about War Chest. Just love it.
For me, War Chest it's luck chess.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's I really like the tactics approach to it, and I like that. I do think it's really cool that they have simulated battles, like simulated historic battles.
Yeah, like which is pretty neat.
Yeah,
pretty neat.
The box is cool. With the the chip trays, right?
Yeah,
and
go ahead.
My only problem with it was the objective markers. I just feel like could be a little bit more pronounced, but
agreed. They kind of fixed that in the expansion, right?
Mm-hmm.
I still use the 3D printed ones you gave me because I think they're superior, but they did make hexagonal control markers in the expansion to replace the circular ones from the original.
Got it.
So I think that was a big thing. I like War Chess, and you mentioned chess, which is funny because I was going to say, y'all know chess sets, they jumped like almost 90% in sales this holiday season because of what show? Queen's Gambit. Dude, have you seen that?
I've watched the first episode.
I loved it. I watched the whole thing. It was great. Big fan.
I watched the first episode on a vacation trip. And I just haven't gotten around to watching the rest of it, but it was good. I liked the first episode a lot.
Yeah, totally worth watching it. Even if you don't like chess, I like chess. I'm bad at it, and it kind of shows like why I like games like this over chess, like classic games, because I feel like in chess, eventually you just memorize the game, and you're just playing memorized games. That is the point for high level players.
Yeah, chess has a finite number of ways to win.
Correct. More numbers than I can calculate, but there comes a point where you're just doing openings and you're already moves ahead. But I feel like in War Chest, it takes like some of that pre-planning. You can have an overall strategy, but you need to adapt because chance does factor into it, which I'm a big fan of. And you can play mind games. So yes, I love War Chest. That is
the bag building is cool too. You can actually like draft out your units, which is cool. And yeah, I feel like it is a great kind of entry to skirmish, if you were, strategy game.
It's a quick 2-player strategy game. I really like it. The 2 qualms I have with it, one is I have played it 4 players, contrary to popular belief, but I don't like it at 4 players.
How long
just
did
don't.
Take you?
It's just about a year. I don't like it at 4 players. It's like what I mentioned with City of Kings. It's like you're just divvying your mind in half. You have like no control over half your moves, and it's just frustrating. I feel like it should just be a 2-player game. I wish, one, they had a neoprene mat.
Yeah.
There's no reason they don't. And 2, they made it like so the expansions would fit in the base box.
Right.
But they don't.
What do you mean?
Like they'd have, like it doesn't quite fit in there correctly. You have to like dig in there. Like it's awkward to do it.
Oh, I gotcha.
Like they have that big cavity in the war chest.
Yeah.
But it's not good. It's like, I don't know. They should have either made one chest that was easy to manifest both parts of it, or they should have just made 2 skinny boxes.
Right, made them smaller. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you
they
on-
didn't
on
ask
the-
me.
I agree with you on the neoprene mat. I think that it's one of those games where you could have multiple games going at once, you know. And so having another board or a mat would be great. The neoprene mat, I think, would just really take it to, you know, you could have like a place for your cards. You know, everyone knows like there's set places for everything. I can think it'd be cool.
Yeah, and it just feels good moving the poker chips on the neoprene.
Right, exactly, and easier to pick them up too. So.
Yeah.
Tin Tune.
Oh well.
Hello, how are you? But yeah, War Chest number 3. Solid game, Chris. Solid game. And no shocker that it's on your list. This one is also not going to be a shocker. It's on my list. And it's a game that you have played and you didn't like. And I think that we need to play it at 2 players for similar reasons.
Okay.
Thank you for the follow. Tin
Appreciate
Tune.
the follow.
My
Number 3.
is Cerebria: The Inside World from
Okay,
Mindclash Games.
yep. Mm-hmm.
So Cerebria: The Inside World is Inside Up, the board game.
Yes.
Or Inside Out. Inside Out? Inside Out.
In
the board
somebody.
game. Yeah. You're playing as emotions. And so there's the bliss emotions fighting against the gloom emotions for control of this being that you're a part of. And you know, I think that the art is great. The art's just fucking fantastic.
Yes. It looks fantastic.
All the cards are tarot cards, which just really like make my heart beat. The miniatures are really cool too. I'm actually working on painting those right now, which is a whole like thing unto itself. And it's definitely one of those games where you have to have strategy and tactics at the same time. And
Right.
It is coined as like a 2v2 game, but I feel like it plays best at 1v1. And I've played at 2v2 with other groups, and I think that it's good. I don't think it's the best way to learn it. I think it's best to learn it 1v1.
Okay.
And it's just like, it's so good. The area control aspect of it, the action selection is really cool. So you've got like all these different vibes that you have to use to upgrade your different abilities or your actions. The center of the map rotates, and that kind of causes the round scoring. So you might take certain actions to avoid having to score that round. There's also just tons and tons of replayability because you can build your own decks. So you might have one deck that's focusing on, being a defensive guy, and then you might have another deck that's focusing on offense, right? So lots of replayability there. The expansion is almost a must-have for me. The miniatures are included in the expansion. It also includes a neutral force, so you can play with 3 players or up to 6. I don't think I'd play this at 6. I think it'd just be too much, but I think that 3 players would be fun. 3 opposing players, right?
Would 6 experienced players be good?
Maybe.
Teams of 2, right?
Yeah, teams of 2 could be cool. The power of this game really comes from like the deck building portion, right? Like that's where you can really get into like some crazy strategies of like, one deck might be focused on, 2 colors of emotions and the other deck's focused on the other 2, right? And so that allows you to kind of, you can be all balanced, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're powerful in one aspect and your teammate is powerful in the other aspect, it makes for a much more exciting experience, I think. But yeah, so this is a game that would recommend learning 1v1, and then once everyone knows how to play, I think that it can be done 2v2. So
Yeah, I definitely want to give this one a try again. I like the theme of the game. I love it. I love the artwork of it and the presentation of it. And I think my downfall was we played it 2v2, and I am a little slow on the uptake of some things. And this is a very iconic game. Like, you're following the icons to make the
Yep.
the dominoes fall, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get the strategy because I didn't understand what everything
tactics.
meant.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's tactics. There you go. Yes. I wasn't able to plan for the long term because I didn't understand the short term. Like, I was lost in the iconography of it. But I would definitely like to try it again.
Yeah, I think the problem this game has, and the reason why it's not higher up for me, one, it's long. It is a multi-hour game. You know, it is up to probably 4 hours if you're learning, right? Even experienced players like Angel and I play this quite a bit, and it still takes us about 2 hours to get through a game. Angela hates playing it with me because I'm good at it. And it is one of those games that has there's a million actions, right? There's on-board actions you take, there's character actions you take, there's upgrades to your character actions. So there's all these like different things going on, and you can try and explain them, but you're gonna forget, right? And like you said, the iconography, to me, an experienced player makes sense, but coming at it from, firsthand it's not going to make sense right away. And that's why, like, I've got cheat sheets, that spell everything out in English, which tends to help.
Yes, and that did help. It did help.
Yeah.
But,
but it's still a lot. It's still a lot to take in. And unfortunately, it's one of those games where longer games tend to be like, either you like it or you don't, right? Because you're like, I don't want to spend another 2 hours on a game that I know I don't like.
Right. And I that's why I want to try it 1v1. Because, again, we were playing with our wives, I think. And my wife is very quick on the pickup. So I got frustrated, and I didn't give the game its due. So I would like to try it again.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good number 3.
I do think that 1v1, very similar to War Chest, is good at 1v1, but not at 2v2.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
Chris, let's go ahead and roll into
Number 2.
All right. My number 2, and honestly, my number 1 is going to be no surprise to anyone. My number 2 board game is Scythe. Nothing has really dethroned it. And I marked down, and you found this funny, as my favorite group strategy game.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I put that is because I like this game at 3+. I do not like it 1v1. I don't know why. It's just not fun for me. I'm like, let's play War Chest.
I guess I just didn't realize that group strategy was a genre.
Well, I don't know if it is, but that's what I called it.
Group strategy to me yells co-op.
Oh, okay. I don't like that.
Yeah. Multiplayer strategy.
That would make more sense.
Competitive.
That would make much more sense. Yeah. Now that I see your groups, you know what group strategy is? It's Captain's Dead.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a group strategy game. Yep. Okay, my mistake.
Yep.
Yeah, multiplayer strategy game, 3+ strategy game. I like Scythe. I don't like it 2 players. I don't know why. It's just not my jam.
I don't like it at 7.
7 is a trudge.
It's a trudge. It takes way too fucking long. It doesn't matter. Like, when someone's turn comes up, they're always in the bathroom or getting a beer. Botazos, thank you for the follow. They're always doing something, right?
Yes.
So, yeah.
Downtime's low in Scythe, but even at any 7-player game, you're going to have downtime between your turn and the next one.
Right, and people get bored,
Yeah.
So they go take a poop.
Sometimes you're just like, I just want you to end. I'll just attack you so you win.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I have played a lot of Scythe digitally during the pandemic, and have switched up my favorite faction. I still do love the Nordic. I'm a big fan of the Nordic. But Albion is actually like secret powerhouse, I think.
Sorry, that's
green.
No, it's not Polania. It's green?
Yeah, top left.
Green. They're the ones that have the
They have the
flags.
flag.
Right. Okay. Yeah, those guys are good. I like purple. I like the landmines, but I do. I feel like the landmine is very me, and the flag is very you.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense. Yeah.
Somehow you play Roosevelt and still mess up the opening play.
Well, no, I didn't mess it up. That's just the way I start. And Stephen, I think I got more points than you last time. I didn't win.
You were also playing Roosevelt.
That's true.
Roosevelt.
I was an engineer.
You're right. You're right. But yeah, I do think I think this game's great. It's got a lot of replayability. The campaign was fun.
Yeah, I want to play it again.
I think, as we've talked about many times, I feel like the only weak point in this game is Wind Gambit. I'd be fine
it's a letdown.
If I never played with the airships ever.
Yeah. Some of the homebrew rules with the airships are pretty cool. The minis are awesome, but I'm paying for plastic at that point. There's no good gameplay.
Right.
There's that neat like end game shuffle, like you can put in a different like way to win.
Right.
But even that's like meh.
Right.
Yeah.
I do think
so. Like,
I do think that the modular boards are cool.
They're okay. They're not bad. They're not as good as I thought they would be. They don't do as much as I thought they would do. Maybe I need to experiment with them more. But I mean, I haven't played a lot of people that memorize the board, so I don't feel like it's adding much to my experience. But I feel like what they did with the campaign, they can do anything else they want. I'll probably buy it because the campaign's so good.
Right. Exactly. I don't know if there's anything else coming out for Scythe.
I think they're done, and I think they should stop. I think they just need to let this go and let it be awesome for the rest of time.
Have you bought anything for Scythe?
Yes. I bought one thing. The modular boards.
And you bought the encounter cards too.
Oh yeah, I did buy the encounter cards. Though that might be my favorite edition because it's just random stuff.
Yeah.
Like that one time we played and they put like 30 food in one pile in the middle of the board.
Right. Right.
That was fun. All right, you're number 2.
Yeah, number 2. Chris, my
Number 2.
is not going to surprise anybody because it was also my
Number 2
in another list that we did.
Okay.
And without further ado, my
Number 2
is Rurik, Dawn of Kiev.
Okay.
So this is a game that I guess technically came out last year, but I didn't receive it until early this year. Amazing area control game. This is a great kind of semi-historical accurate game about
it's like historical fiction kind of.
Right. Yeah, it's like real people but fake lives.
That's us.
Right? So you're playing as prince and princesses of Roosevelt, shocker. And you're trying to prove that you are most worthy of becoming the next king or queen. And really fun area control game. The thing that does it for me is the action selection. The action selection is done with a bidding system. So you have different, I think they're called disciples, acolytes. Maybe.
Three-legged bishops, right? That's what we call them,
three-legged bishops, right? Exactly. And so you're taking these guys, and they're numbered 1 through 4, and you're going to take them and you're going to place them on an action. And based on the number that you place determines how many times you take that action. But if someone plays a lower number bishop, then they bump you down. So you end up taking less of that action.
It's so hard.
It's hard. It's hard to like gamify. It's hard to take control of. But I really like that mind game of like, I'm going to play my 4 here.
I enjoyed every minute of it. Yeah, big fan of that game.
It's so good. There's an expansion that was on Kickstarter early this year. It's going to come out. I think it's shipping early next year. Their pledge manager is still open, so if you wanted to get in on that, you could. It's just so good, man. It's so good.
I did have one. Thank you very much for the follow. Snoke Newman C.
Smoke Nemooner. Smoke Minor.
Yes.
Smoke Newman.
Do it. If you got them, smoke them. So yes, 2 tickets. Great. This game, Rurik Dawn of Kiev, did have one of my biggest letdowns in a board game of 2020, though. And that was when I chose my prince, I guess is what you call it, or my big leader guy.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, hey, Chris, this guy comes with a dog. You get this. And you handed me a playing card with the dog's picture on it. I'm like, oh, extra abilities.
Right.
And maybe things I can do.
Right.
But I looked at this printed card, both sides. It's just the backstory of this motherfucker's dog. There's nothing else. There's no reason
Dog
for
lore,
this.
man. Dog lore.
It's so... I was angry. I was shaking with fury.
Yeah.
Hi.
That's
the
fair.
worst.
Yeah. Rurik Dawn of Kiev is great. I don't know of anything wrong with it. I mean, I think if the fact that you can't play as the dog is your worst thing about it, then I think
I don't like getting a component that has nothing to do with the game.
I do think that is a game that I won't paint the minis for. I think the minis are fine kind of as is.
Well, they're mainly like wooden. Oh, well, no, the minis. I see what you're saying. Like the leaders. Yeah, they
the
look
leaders.
good. They look good. Yeah, it's fine.
Cool.
All right.
Before we get into our number one, Chris,
Yes.
do you have any honorable mentions for 2020?
I do, and I didn't pick a lot of. I tried to pick one of each like main area of gaming. My sleeper hit, I guess, I don't even know if we would call that of 2020 is the RPG Kids on Bikes.
Mm-hmm.
I really love that system, not just the setting, but I just like just how you make characters and how the game is run. I just like the narrative control that everyone has over the game, and I like how it's just, you got dice, put your big die for your good skill, put your tiny die for your not so good skill. It's just so easy to follow.
Right.
It's great for someone who's new to the genre, because you roll high, and the more sides you have, the better. Like there's nothing to it.
Yeah,
it's just
exactly.
a non-chunky, fun game. So Kids on Bikes would be my honorable mention.
My honorable mention is you're gonna hate me. You're gonna hate me for doing this.
Okay.
It's 2-player games.
What?
There are so many good 2-player games out there.
Well, you get to choose one.
Well, we're gonna get to that.
Okay.
2-player games have obviously COVID, right? 2-player games have really kind of taken off, right?
Okay.
But little did we know that we had a bunch of really good 2-player games already in the funnel, right? Like they were already published, already out there. And people just didn't pay them any mind because they're 2-player games, right?
Yeah.
So my top 3 2-player games, just really quickly, Patchwork, which is an Uwe Rosenberg polyomino game. Super fun, very quick, very easy to pick up. Doesn't take up a lot of space. Can play at a brewery, not a big deal. You're playing. The whole idea is that you're making a quilt, which is
me and Jenny really like Patchwork. That game is fun as shit. Yeah.
Do you have the
that.
Americana edition?
No, I do not.
What a
so
mistake.
I don't know if it adds anything.
It doesn't. It's the same fucking
It's just
game.
different color.
Yeah, it's just
color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Monopoly America edition.
So I heard, isn't there like an express or like a quick, there's another version that's like supposed to be like the fast version of it.
Well, you can just play the other side of the board.
Yeah, but they released another one. There's the regular one, there's the Americana one, and then there's
Christmas.
No, it wasn't that. Either way, I heard it wasn't good.
Okay. I don't know how much faster you need to.
Yeah, that was the main thing. It's like this game takes 30 minutes. Yeah, like there's no reason to speed it up. Regardless of which, yeah, that game is fun as shit. I enjoyed that very much.
Number 2 is a game that I played for the first time I guess I guess it was like a month and a half ago now.
Thank you, Dama Techno.
Land, Air, and Sea.
Yes. Dude, I want to play this game with you so bad.
Land, Air, and Sea is, God, it's so stupidly fun, so stupidly easy. My only complaint about this game. So hold on. So the game is, it is area control in card form, right? So you're trying to control air, land, and sea, right? With different units, and all the cards have special abilities that you can do and whatever. The only thing I fucking hate about this game, it comes in a gigantic box. It could literally be a deck of cards. It literally could be a deck of cards.
Yeah.
But instead they decided to make this big fucking box that you put it in. But if we ever get back to playing games at a brewery, like, definitely going to be a hit.
I think that would be a good one.
It's so quick. You know, you play a full 5 rounds in like 20 minutes. You know, it's nuts. It's great. And my number 1 2-player game, Watergate.
I still want to play it. I still want to get in my Nixon cosplay and play Watergate.
It's this really great tug of war game where you're playing as the press versus Nixon, and there's like this puzzle aspect to it along with the strategy aspect. It's really, really fun. And it's only like $20, which is like mind-blowing to me considering the quality of the components you get. So
yeah,
really fun. So yeah, so that, needless to say, my sleeper hit of 2020 is 2-player games.
That's fair. And you know, that's the other thing is, like, some games, like we mentioned, like I really like War Chest at 2-player, but I don't like it at any other player account.
Right.
And I really like Scythe at anything but 2-player. Like it's hard to balance a game between 3+ and 2. You either have a really good 2-player game or you don't. Like, even games that I enjoy playing at all player accounts, like Magic the Gathering or like Dice Throne.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I play the game differently depending on the player count.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, I play it wrong, but I still play it differently.
What does this card do?
Yeah. Let's play it. Dude, let me... Playing... oh, God, what's it even called now? EDH with Chris is a treat when he doesn't know what any of the cards do.
It's so good. It's so good. We should play it over Discord one day.
Good. As long as you're willing to hold your cards up to the camera and let me read for 30 seconds.
So I lied. I have one more honorable mention, and that's just because
that's fine.
I think it's because it's my most played game of 2020 that didn't make it onto my list.
Okay.
Quacks of Quedlinburg. We
that game's
play
fun to sell.
probably every other week in our we have a little friend bubble that we play games with, and golly, dude, that game is so infuriatingly fun. That, and there's so much replayability from all the ingredients have like 6 different variants to them. And then you can mix and match the different variants together. And we have our own like favorite sets that we play with. Man, that game is so good. Push your luck, bag building, really just really fun game, especially when you cheat. But it is also really fun when you play by the rules. We realized the first couple times I played, I was just playing just spend all your money, right? You can buy as many ingredients as you want. And then we realized that was like screwing up the bag count, right? Because you could just fill your bag with good ingredients. And then we looked, and you're only allowed to buy 2 ingredients per round, and that changed things quite dramatically.
Yeah, that would change it a smidge.
But yeah, so super fun game. Quacks of Quedlinburg. The expansion is great. The Herb Witch expansion. There's another expansion coming out Was supposed to be this year, but COVID, so probably next year. Which is going to add more new mechanics, which is just wonderful, just absolutely wonderful.
That game,
and it's one of those
really
games
fun.
too.
It has nothing to do with ducks.
It has nothing.
I
to
always
do with
think
ducks.
ducks.
Right. It is one of those games too where the expansions. I will never not teach somebody without the Herb Witch expansion. Like,
Okay.
it's so simple. The mechanic is basically just here's 3 actions you can take once per game each. It's so simple, but it creates this. It really takes the game to the next level, I think. Really, really fun, and I'm excited to see what the new expansion does as well. So.
Yeah, Quacks is a great. I honestly thought that would be on your list, but I understand why it's not. But that would be a tough one to cut because that one was a lot of fun.
It didn't make the list. It was a close cut. But it is one of those games where I'm always down to play it. You know, always down to play it. Speaking of which, Chris,
I would be too.
Speaking of which, our number 1 game, I think that is a game that we'll always be willing to play. And so, Chris, your
Number 1
is...
Who would have guessed Chris's favorite game is Dungeons and Dragons?
Man, who would have seen
There it
that
is.
coming?
Big surprise. It's not that I run 1,000 campaigns at once and play online that more than literally anything. I think I spend more time in Faerun than in real life at this point.
How many days a week do you play Dungeons and Dragons?
At least 4.
That's
3 or 4.
wild,
Depends
Chris.
on the way. It's crazy, dude.
Chris, no wonder
It's
why we don't
nuts.
have time
I have
to
a
see
problem.
each other.
I have a problem. I'm starting another one soon. Who would have? Yeah, it's bad, dude. Let me tell you. But it has been a big staple during the pandemic, during quarantine, being able to play online. Can you imagine, like, when I was growing up, we didn't play Dungeons and Dragons very often, and when we did, it was never online, not on our dial-up internet.
Right.
The world is very different now. Like playing on Roll20, people play on Fantasy Grounds. It's just it's a whole other like ecosystem.
So I've been playing on Roll20 for a bit. I'd never run a game on Roll20 until this year. But playing a game because I have that old school game from growing up.
Sure.
And we get together once a year for, or we were getting together once a year for a physical game, and then once kind of every other month, or once every 3 months for an online game. But yeah, it's insane. Like just the, how mainstream it's become, right? Obviously things like Critical Role have helped that, but like,
sure.
I remember when, Dungeons and Dragons was, you might have a tiny section at the top of the shelf near the science fiction section of Barnes and Noble,
Exactly.
And
now
it's
they
got a
just
whole
have
fucking
the
shelf.
role-playing section. Yeah, no joke.
Yeah.
It's definitely changed in the past few years. I think for the better. My high school years would have been a lot easier had it been, now. But I love it. It's a lot of fun. It has been the escapism I need during this time where we're stuck at home and whatever. And it's I think it also has led to a lot of good content on our channel.
Yeah.
Just not only just D&D, but just like the online RPGs in general.
Yeah.
I say Dungeons and Dragons is my catch-all because, to me, it's the one I grew up with. It's the one I run the most.
Sure.
But I've been able to use it to learn other ones. Always fun.
Chris, you and I actually haven't played much D&D together.
We have not, and I wanted to discuss this with you.
We should probably fix that at some point.
We should.
But D&D is great.
Especially 5e, man. That reignited me into the franchise because I didn't really. 3 was I'm like 4 was like that isn't even the same game I used to play.
Right.
But 5 I feel is bringing me back.
4 was very much like a video game.
It was an analog video game.
Here's the
war
meta.
game adjacent. I'm like,
I wouldn't call it war game. It was very much like it was like an MMO, really.
Okay, yeah, okay. Like when what was that? The first wave of like World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Same time period. Yeah, okay, I can see that. That's fair.
And it was very much like like all the pre-builts were like, you need a tank, you need a healer, you need 2 DPS. You know, that was like,
that
was
fair.
kind of like
it was more tactical than I liked, and
Yeah.
I felt like that took away from the RP.
for sure.
But here we are, you know.
Yeah. I think RPGs in general are just seeing, you know, a resurgence. I think 5e is a great jumping off point. You know, we talked about this a few months ago. I went full in on the Hellboy RPG.
Yes.
I've backed a few other kind of smaller settings inside of 5e. But yeah, it's just it is the new like D20 SRD, you know?
Right. And I think it's well done. Like, I think it's good. I haven't checked out Pathfinder 2e yet, but I feel like I'm probably not going to, just because I really like 5e, and I don't need to learn
and I think that's fair. I think Pathfinder Second Edition is really for the diehard Pathfinders. You know, I don't think it's something that I would go to.
No.
I played Pathfinder enough where Pathfinder's cool, but I'd rather just play 3.5e if I'm gonna do that.
Sure, that's fair.
But now it just makes sense to play 5 just because it's, you know, it's
think
just so
5
polished and it's so widely adopted.
It's so good.
You know?
And it's always revised. Like, it's always being there's always a Reddit, and then whenever they put out a supplement, they discuss things that they want to change.
Right.
It's just I feel like they just stick to 5 and call it a day.
the only thing that I haven't bought into yet, and I know that a lot of people are going to fight me on this, I haven't bought into the D&D Beyond stuff yet, because
that's fair.
Because for me, I can't see. It's a tough pill to swallow, and I know it's just like it's so like boomer thinking, right? But I can't get past I'm paying the same price for the digital as I do the physical.
It's not worth it. It's here's my main, and I can go on this forever. I bought the player's handbook. I own the physical copy. I don't need to buy a digital version both on D&D Beyond and another digital version on Roll20.
Right. Exactly.
I don't think that makes sense.
Now,
I understand you're a different company, but sorry.
If D&D Beyond could come up with some way to like integrate Roll20 into it, that would be...
Well, D&D Beyond is coming up with a TTS.
Right, but if there would, like, here's the thing. I would be willing to pay $15 a month, right?
Okay.
You get me access to your entire library of books, right? You get me access to a premium TTS. Call it a day. You're making more money off me that way. I get access to everything, you know?
So you'd rather do a monthly than a pay-as-you-go?
I think pay-as-you-go is fine, but here's the thing. You're going to have to end up paying for the TTS anyways.
Yes, I agree. I think, I agree with you. I think when D&D Beyond has their TTS out, they'll do pretty good. I don't like any of the models, honestly. I'm not a big fan. And I also wish there was just one encompassing thing that I could buy all my... Because I have books here, books there.
Right.
You know? And I know they make like third-party extensions in Chrome to like make them all work, but no, man. I just want a piece of paper and a pencil.
Right. If only D&D Beyond would just buy Roll20 and then we could call it a day. Everyone would be happy.
Well, Fantasy Grounds and Astral,
yeah.
Yeah, Astral's fight. Like, it's a whole thing, man. Everyone has their own favorite, which is great, but I don't want to buy the PHB more than once.
Right, exactly.
But anyway, we digress.
We need to make our own table hops TTS, you know?
That's it. It'll just be beer styles. And the different tiers of subscription.
The loading screen is just a beer stein being filled.
Spilling over.
Yeah,
all
exactly.
Right. Steven, I have no idea what your number one is.
You have no idea what my number one is?
I don't. You've been taking me through many loops of just suspense.
I'll give you 2 hints.
Okay.
I started playing this game this year. You have never played this.
Oh, God, that doesn't help.
We've talked about it on the podcast before.
It's not... wait, is it an RPG? Or is it a not... Is it yes or no an RPG?
No.
Is it... What is the name of that? Is it... It's not Age of Sigmar.
It's not Age of Sigmar.
I don't know. That was going to be my guess. Was either the
Chris.
RPG of Age of Sigmar.
Drum roll. My
Number 1.
is close to Age of Sigmar. It's Warcry.
Oh, there it is.
Warcry.
That's the game we played on Tabletop Simulator, right?
No, we have not played this yet. You and I played God Tier, which is another skirmish
God Tier.
Yep.
Okay.
Warcry is skirmish Age of Sigmar. Super God, just the system for Warcry is so nice. You've got one set of dice you use. You know, there's not a lot of math involved.
I like that.
Yeah, you're gonna roll. It's very cinematic, right? A lot of the terrain you're using is vertical instead of being like just cover. So you end up with a situation where you're like jumping off the top rope, right? And slamming your axe down into somebody's skull, which is really cool. They came out with a new version about 6 weeks ago called Warcry Catacombs, which is, it's just a rules supplement really. But now, now there's a whole different set of rules for playing inside of like a dungeon. And one of the like big like teaser things, which is really what caused me to buy into Catacombs, because I was like, I've got Warcry, I like it enough, like there's no reason to buy this extra rule set. This is what did it for me. They had a video of an elf Spartan kicking a demon into lava.
Yes.
And let me tell you, that was an immediate purchase for me.
Yes, that's fair. Yeah.
So I'll
take 2.
Obviously I've been painting a lot of minis, specifically for Warcry. I have 10 warbands now.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 10. I have 10 warbands. I've got 7 of them fully painted. So I need to finish some other ones. But it's it's the system for it's great. It's all D6s, right? It's really quick. It plays in probably 45 minutes.
Okay.
There's a little bit of measuring, but typically when you play, you're playing like very loose, right? You don't have to like, you're not like pulling out a tape measure, you know, it's like, this is about 6 inches. And so we're going to move this, you know?
I've heard that
before. Yeah, it's so cool. And the thing that's really cool is, so you have each faction has its own abilities, right? And different warriors have access to different abilities. And the abilities are activated based on if you roll doubles, triples, or quads. So if you roll 2 of the same number, 3 of the same number, 4 of the same number, etc., right? And so those abilities will then activate, and then you get to use them as like super. Like there's this one where one of your fighters basically turns into Legolas and just like quick fire snipers people. It's
surfs down a shield down a bunch of stairs.
Exactly.
That one counts as one.
So Warcry was, you know, I thought long, I was like, man, like this needs to be kept into a traditional, like, you know, traditional board game, but Warcry.
But when you knew I was choosing D&D, you're like, well anything goes.
For me, it was, I really wanted to include Bluebeard.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay.
So I really want to include Bluebeard, and I was like, well, if I'm already bending the rules a little bit, and to be perfectly honest, a warband for Warcry cost about the same as a board game. So
okay, yeah, that's fair.
You know, it's like the same thing, and it's tabletop. You know, and to be honest, it's, you know, miniature building and painting has become a large part of my hobby time, and
Absolutely. Totally makes sense.
It's probably, it's mostly acquainted with COVID. But it's something that I talked about getting into, pre-COVID. And it started doing pre-COVID, and then it just kind of ramped up with, I can't go do anything. So I literally, Chris, I kid you not, I will sit there, I will watch a TV show, and I'll paint, and
there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that, but it's like, that's like my, like,
which is kind of awesome.
Yeah, exactly. You come home from work, you eat dinner, and then you watch an episode of
that's it.
House or whatever, and you paint. So
yeah, that's not what. Okay. House. For some reason, I went Fuller House instead of House Empty.
Sure,
like Uncle Jesse. That's not what I was thinking. But yeah, House. I love House. Regardless of which, I feel like on the bright side of our current situation, it's made us sort of do the things we've always said we were going to do, but never had time.
Yeah,
you can't say I don't have time anymore,
right?
Because all we have is that.
And I know that you haven't seen them, but like it's crazy to me when I look at like the models that I painted in January versus the models I'm painting now. Like it's night and day difference. And
I think if you look at the beer bottles that are empty over here, it's it's piled up in a corner.
Have you kept them? Are you keeping like?
No,
I've
recycled them. No, that staff would be pole vault worthy at this point.
And let me preface this by saying I've played a lot of skirmish games this year. I've played God Tier, I've played Aeronautica Imperialis, I've played Kill Team, I've played Gatefall. And Warcry by far is the simplest one to pick up. It's the easiest one to get somebody into, and it has the most expandability. And that's why it really hits the number one for me. So
yeah, sounds like the best one. Absolutely.
Even though Gatefall has those massive peanut butter jar sized miniatures,
if they're not fun.
Gatefall's fun, but it definitely doesn't have the expandability that Warcry does. And
okay, that's fair. That's fair. Well, guys, I think that was our 12 days of Christmas. I mean,
God,
I think it was a good list, Stephen. We did it. And I kind of agree with everything we said, which is rare for me.
I think it was very interesting that we had no repeats. And I
had some repeats.
No.
Between together, we had none that we. Yes, I agree. Yes,
we had no duplicates between us. I think that it was very, very. And who knows? Maybe that's because we haven't been able to hang out as much as we would have, non-COVID, right? I think honestly, I think the game that we've played the most together was that fucking Sideshow Carnival game.
Yes, Sideshow Swap. That or golf with your friends.
Yeah, golf with your friends, exactly. But needless to say, I do think that this is likely our last podcast for 2020.
Yes,
I think
that's right.
The Twitch has been great to us.
Yeah, we love you guys. Thank you so much for watching.
It's been a great kind of change of pace for us. We are looking at trying to get the YouTube videos back. We're trying to figure out how that works, kind of schedule wise, COVID wise, life wise. We do have lives outside of Table Hops.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? So just, we're trying to figure that out. And I do think
adapting as we need to do.
Yeah. And I think the one thing that both you and I miss are our brewery game nights,
those were so much fun.
It kind of sucks.
To see you guys in real life.
We were just starting to like add in a second brewery, we were starting to kind of take the show on the road, as it were. And then COVID hit, which is unfortunate, but
it's unfortunate for everybody, but
we do hope that, in 2021 we'll be able to bring those back. I have a closet full of bullshit to be able to give out to you guys. I had like, I've got, we've got games for the next 6 months.
That's right. 'Cause a year ago we gave away so many games.
Yeah,
during
a year ago we did
like,
we did our annual our first time annual
Dirty Santa or something like
well,
mystery
it was
gifts.
it was a food drive. So people brought in canned goods and non-perishables that we donated to the food bank of Southeastern Virginia, and for everything that you gave in, we gave you a raffle ticket, and then we did raffle tickets, and then you got to pick a gift, right? And we had everything from zombie dice to, oh God, you remember 6-gun shooter?
6-gun, yeah, that and Zorro dice.
Zorro dice, yeah. And then we had some hits. We had Lost Cities was in there, which is another great 2-player game. We had a bunch of stuff, and unfortunately we didn't get to do that this year. But I still have stuff.
I have 3 copies of Battles of the Planeswalker or Duels of the
I've got another sealed copy of Lost Cities. I've got Hand of the King, which is that Game of Thrones game that was on sale for like $2.50, and I was like, you know what, we can use these for game
Great
night.
giveaway.
Give 2 of them.
Great giveaway.
And then COVID.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, so we've got a bunch of stuff, a bunch of really cool stuff. I really hope we get back to them next year.
Me too.
To be fair, the breweries did reach out to us, and but we just didn't feel right.
It's a weird, our event is all about, getting together in small groups and handling a bunch of stuff and passing them around. Can't do that right now, so we just didn't feel it was safe.
There's no real way to safely sanitize in between,
No.
and it just didn't make sense, right?
Right.
But we're able to do community game nights here with you guys digitally,
Yes.
which is cool. And so yeah, appreciate all the new follows, guys. That was great. And appreciate everyone hanging out with us. And I guess we'll go ahead and draw our winner.
Yeah, I think everyone's here just to get a free thing, so let's do that.
We're gonna close the giveaway.
It's closed.
We're gonna draw a winner. And Margwin has won the
Wow,
giveaway.
Margwin, you won!
With a 25% chance to win. Margwin,
Oh, you got all them tickets. Congratulations, you won.
We are
She might be asleep
already
at this
friends
point.
on Steam, so I will get you your game over to you here shortly, and be on the lookout because I think we're going to play it next week for Community Game Night.
Community Game Night. That's exciting. Yes.
So, guys, thank you so much. Thank everyone for hanging out and hanging out with us for our final podcast of 2020. This is not our final stream of 2020.
Final podcast 2020.
Final podcast of 2020. And it's just been a lovely old time. We are going to go ahead and raid our good friend Samazing. She is currently streaming some Destiny 2. She's getting ready to raid with her crew. So be sure to head over there. Show her some love, hit her some follows and subs, and appreciate you guys. We'll see you next time.
All right. Bye, guys.